my opinion, I think you could pretty much catch anything on anything at any given time.
Hello everyone, welcome to The Deep Drop. This is a fishing podcast. It's kind of like a weather app. You can look at it, but you don't really know what you're going to get. I'm Luke McCredden, this is Adam Ring, and Ads, can you give me your take on The Deep Drop, please?
Yep, no, you nailed it, except I'll go as far as saying we're the weather app that when you look at it, it gives you one forecast and produces something completely different.
Yes.
So that's pretty much how we roll.
Most of them.
Most of them. So we take the nuts and bolts of fishing, we throw them all into the magic fishing hat, we swish it all around, and we just start talking.
And just see what comes out.
See where it takes us.
See what colours it blends up. And that's kind of what... Listen, we've spoken about this before, and if you're new here, welcome. It's great to have new people on board. We hear from new listeners quite often, Ads, and it's fantastic to hear. And don't be a stranger. Reach out on Instagram and say g'day. But ultimately, Adam and I have been in this wonderful, wonderful industry that is the recreational fishing industry for a long time and have had the privilege to call it work too. And we get to talk about this stuff on the daily. And so we thought we'd just get together and hit record and chat about all the things that we talk about quite literally when we're out fishing, on a road trip, on the boat.
Working,
walking up a river, or sitting around a campfire. Really,
yeah.
And it's where it all stems from. Yeah. So,
all the good stuff.
You know, once again, if you're new, I think you'll probably, if you go back and have a listen, you'll probably find yourself going, I've asked that question before and didn't land on anything either. So
here we go. Here we are.
But there is one thing that is, we do not claim to know anything really, but certainly are not trying to give anyone advice. This is a bit of fun. We're having a bit of a lighter look on what is this wonderful industry. So welcome aboard. And if you've been along for the ride for a fair journey, because we're well into our hundreds now, Ads.
We are.
Thank you very much for being a part of it. It is
well played for sticking it out.
Yeah.
It's good effort.
Yeah, absolutely. And now
we're just getting started.
Well, we are. I mean, it's the beginning of the next 100. Every
100%.
episode is the first episode of the future.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
Write that down.
I might actually. That could be a t-shirt. T-shirt.
Yeah, t-shirt, merch idea. Write that down.
Absolutely. So I don't know. I got through the studio today and I'm not 100% sure. I haven't seen management. Anyone who's listened to the last few eps, we have had a bit of a takeover from management trying to do their thing to sort of... righto, come on through. What's going on?
Spoken about the merch yet?
No, we haven't.
You know, that's what we need to start pushing out there is the merch. It's good for the brand.
It is the brand, yeah. We haven't got onto it yet, so we'll...
Righto, we'll get on with it.
We will. Jesus. I didn't
Merch
even know
is
they were
getting a
here.
bit full on.
Well, just barging in like that's a bit much.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, yeah, there is merch. Head over to the deepdrop.au Ads. You can pick yourself up a cap like you're not wearing at the moment and a stubby holder.
Hang on. I did come prepared. Do you want to know what the Deep Drop merch sounds like?
Yes.
This is what it sounds like.
Oh, yes. Here we go. Oh, yes.
That's what the Deep Drop merch sounds like. That is a fresh, cold can in a fresh, green Deep Drop stubby holder. And you should head over to thedeepdrop.au and check it out.
I love that. Is it comfortable? Yeah, have a swig. Yeah. Oh, it looks comfortable.
Sits in the hand beautifully. I don't want to put it down. Just saying, I don't want to put it down.
Don't. And you know what's good? If you're not sure where to find us, you can have a look on the stubby holder. It's got the details of Instagram and the website. So, I mean, why wouldn't you? And the caps are a nice flex fit cap too. So we haven't skimped there. It's a good
very comfortable cap.
Yeah. So anyway, oh Jesus Christ! Yeah, righto, come on through. What's going on?
Yeah, I just had a thought. Just the live show stuff.
Yeah.
You got to get on talking about the live show stuff.
Well, we haven't touched on it yet.
Jesus Christ, what do you guys talk about? Fucking hell.
Far out.
Management needs to take a fucking chill pill.
What is going on? Like, from day one, they've been angry.
We made it through 100 episodes without the interference.
Without interference.
Nah, and all of a sudden...
And I feel like
they need to pipe down a little bit.
I don't know if it's personal. I don't know if it's just if we've done
I'll
something.
walk out. Actually, no, I won't. But I'll think about it.
You'll think about it. Anyway, that should be it. I mean, let's get on with it because we've got a lot of good questions. Oh, you've got to be joking me. Come on, what's going on?
Yeah, one more thing.
Yeah, what?
Adam, no more talking about bloody slinging toadfish off outboard motors, all right? Fisheries
Oh, it
don't
was
like
one
it.
time.
You know that.
Yeah, but it
Be
was
better.
once.
It was one time.
Jesus Christ. That was
sensitive today.
very targeted to you. I mean,
Yeah,
management
I
are
know.
clearly going through the archive because that was a long time ago that you mentioned about toadfish.
Yeah, well, it's too fucking late. They're living in the past.
All right. Let's keep going before they barge back through the door.
Jesus.
Mate, it's still light outside, and that only means one thing.
It's awesomely weird.
It's awesomely... yeah, that's a good way to put it, actually, because it's a bit of a pain in the ass initially.
It is.
It's crazy.
I think I'm still trying to adjust to the new sleep cycle.
No, which is weird. It's not new. Like, this happens every year, and every single time for a week or so, everyone's going, oh, can't handle this. Obviously, we're talking about daylight savings, so our friends in Queensland listening will be going, oh, yeah, here we go, whatever. Toughen up. It just throws the timings out. But it's mate, I'm super pumped because it just means after work sessions. You know what I'm saying?
And that is all I think about. Every time daylight savings rolls around, I think, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Now, a brief dive into the past. That's what I think. The first time daylight savings comes around, do you know how many times I take advantage of those after work sessions? Probably like once, twice. So my mission is to toughen up a little bit and have a proper crack.
What I love is it also feels a bit more like we're getting, and I know it's crazy to say because it's still been blowing a gale and cold and shit, but it reminds me when it's lighter later that we're getting into the good part of the year, the warmer part of the year.
Yeah.
So it is
definitely.
it's good to see. But we've just got to get a bit warmer. I don't think anyone in New South Wales, South Australia, or actually parts of New South Wales has been glamour. But certainly the further southern states, it just needs to get warmer, ads.
Yeah, it seems every time it looks like it's going to. Like on this day that we record this very podcast, it was fucking 15 degrees and wind chill was shit. But by the end of the week, she's going to warm up again. And
Yep.
I think once we hit those consistent, I look forward to, fishing season for me is when the air temperature on any given day, it's that minimum 21, 22.
That's nice. That's a good
It's just,
minimum.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then it's obviously going to get warm, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We haven't hit that yet, and I'm ready.
No. Yeah, absolutely ready. Hey, you have kicked off your season with some snapper fishing. We're gonna get to that a bit later because I want to ask you how it all went and what happened. I know I got a few messages through, but I want to hear a bit more about it. But before we do, over the last week we had a couple of questions that I want to touch on through Instagram, and obviously anyone listening, best way to get in touch with Adam and myself is through Instagram, the Deep Drop Instagram page, or you could head over to the deepdrop.au and contact us through the contact page there. But there's just a couple of questions popped up, and I thought, let's touch on them. They're not bad. So
let's get into it.
This one's from Spool Spinner Fishing, and the question is, what do you guys think of using ice jigs for snapper? Could it be a thing? And I thought, interesting, because we've spoken about chucking all sorts of different stuff at snapper. Ice jigs isn't something that I'd even sort of imagine would be something that you could, but why couldn't you? Like, it's one of those ones. But before we do, maybe, you are an expert in products. So, question without notice, putting you right on the spot. Can you explain an ice jig to the listeners? Because it's a weird one.
It is, and it's a very interesting lure because up until recently, full transparency, I thought the best way to work it was in an example that I'll talk about. But I actually watched something recently on ice jigs, and they were American bass fishing with them, and they were actually casting them long, and hopping them back. So what ice jig had it best? It's a really colourful. It's a really colourful and well presented piece of lead.
Yeah.
It's got a couple of bits on the back that represent, I guess, a V-shaped plastic tail. Yep. It's got a big fuck-off hook that comes out the nose and also a treble underneath. Now, the toe point is essentially, would you say, smack bang in the middle of the back?
Pretty much, yeah.
And the theory behind it it's a lure that you can drop vertical.
Yep.
When you jig it, it swims in a figure eight. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much how I thought they were used exclusively until recently.
Well, before you go on with that, and most people would be probably familiar with them being used for redfin.
Yeah, or those
Aussie
like those
bass
lake trout.
Lake trout, yeah.
You know, when they do all the ice fishing and hence the name ice jigs.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're probably called something else, but we know them as ice jigs.
Yeah. But yeah, what have you found? What's the new way of using them?
Well, I don't know if it's new. I just saw an American bass dude casting them long and essentially kind of hopping them back like a vibe.
I was going to say, is
soft
it
plastic?
almost working at a bit vibe-ish?
I'm not sure because I couldn't imagine on a, you couldn't with that the distance. Just lifting them is not going to do anything. You have to, I think you'd have to work it pretty hard. But
True.
I'm not going to lie, it did pique my interest.
Okay, well, using it in that format, and we'll get onto the snapper thing in a minute. But when you say it would pique your interest, what would you consider yourself, or what would you consider using them for?
No, well, the first thing I thought was potentially snapper.
Yeah, right.
Because basically, so we have a couple of different types at Rapala. We have a couple of different types of ice jigs that we sell on it, and basically the sale pattern of ice jigs goes like this. If it's a good ready season, I'll sell heaps.
Yeah.
If it's a shit ready season, I'll sell none. They seem to be something for here that's pretty well based around redfin. As you start heading north into the bass dams, they do muck around and use them in the bass dams. I haven't done any research on whether they're jigging them vertical or they're casting them long, but it's definitely something aimed when fish are holding deep. And when I'm talking deep, I'm talking like, impoundment deep. It could be 15, 20 meters. It could be 10 meters, could be 5 meters. It's just it's just a way to present an artificial bait to fish that are sort of bedded down and not really doing much. Hyper aggressive action, annoy the shit out of them trying to get a bite.
Yeah.
When you think of it that way, as far as a casting, deep water, it's kind of maybe something a snapper's never seen before. I think it's a banger of an idea.
Well, I think it would be something that would be absolutely worth having a crack at. I've got this thing, and this might, I don't know. A snapper willing to take anything if it's presented right. And what I mean by that is like this ice jig, for example. I'm not saying that if you just sunk it down there, it'd just get eaten. But if you presented it the right way and did the right things with it, I think they're one of those species that you're in with a chance to get one on most things.
Well, in my opinion, I think you could pretty much catch anything on anything at any given time. Like, and no, and what I mean by that,
there's the sound bite.
there's your t-shirt caption.
Yes. Okay, that's not bad.
Write that down.
Yeah.
Put that through the management. At least we're thinking about merch.
Are they still there? I hope you're listening to that sort of shit. There's some gold right there. Banging on the studio door like that.
Yeah, I think they own the joint.
I think you own the joint. They do.
They do, but what I mean by that is, I think if you persisted with something enough, you're eventually going to catch something. It's why there is a certain amount of luck that's involved with fishing. So you could it probably. Let's rewind to the start of the episode and plop this in of what the deep drop is. What we try and do is work out theoretically and then eventually practically, just a little peek at future plans.
Yeah.
But so we try and theory craft essentially. Could, say, an ice jig for snapper become something that you could consistently have in your arsenal? That you would confidently throw to see. I'm sure if we went and threw ice jigs around for 3 days, we'd probably get some sort of pinky on them.
Yep.
But is it something that could be 100% viable? This is a weird one because I think I could kind of see it.
Could it become a regular in a part of your tackle tray where all your lures are? Because I think that's a really great point. Because we speak and listen, a lot of people that say to me, "What's the deep drop about?" After I scratch my head for a bit and go, "I don't know." I do know, it's all about the what ifs. There's so many what ifs, and this is why fishing's so great, because there's no definitive bloody answer to anything.
There's no answer, but can we find a gem somewhere along the line that means we would go and do X and have Y in our tackle box ready to go at all times?
So I think, and again, this is adding to the content list, which is awesome, but I think we've, in the past, and we keep coming back to it sort of off air, behind the scenes, we talk about it quite a bit, but spinner baits for snapper and ice jigs now is... It's a couple of sessions worth in that. I think we just need to get out there.
What would you be more comfortable with if I said you could take a spinner or an ice jig on a snapper trip and you could only choose one? What would you lean more towards?
Spinner bait.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
I think ice jig.
Really? This is good. This is good. We've picked our corner.
This is interesting.
I'm feeling a nice, like, relevantly weighted spinner bait that I can cast, sink at the right, sort of, I guess, sink rate, so to speak, a nice slow sink down to the zone, doing its own thing, and then just a nice slow retrieve back. And it's just a constant cycle, and it's nothing much to it other than you know what I mean? Having it down in the zone for as long as possible and just keep peppering that. I feel like that. In my head, I'm like, I will catch fish that way.
See, I immediately go towards I could use an ice jig like I would use a soft plastic. Now, the hardest part...
Talk me through that, though. So you're saying you would bang a cast out long and work it back.
After seeing that this is... Because it now gives me a little bit more versatility. If I'm cruising around having a pedal and sound up a couple of fish, I can immediately drop an ice jig, bounce it up and down half a dozen times, see if anything's happening. But then if I've sounded, your classic snapper, you're trying to look for multiple fish within a smallish radius, and I know they're in the area, I can then be versatile, don't have to change anything, I can cast long and try back. But sometimes I can be hard fishing soft plastics for snapper, and it's always one that messes with your mind. You're never quite sure, depending on how fast the current is, how fast your drift is, and what the general conditions are, you're never quite sure if your plastic's anywhere near the bottom.
Yes.
It can be really difficult to try and work that out, and it does take a little bit. I do majority of mine out of a kayak. It does take a little while to work out how to position your kayak so that when the plastic hits the bottom, you get a belly in the line that you can identify straight away that plastic's on the bottom.
So just on that, the Rapala, is it the jigging wrap ice jig?
We've got a couple of different ones. There's a one that's just come out. I'll send you some pics.
Yeah. Samples.
That's what I meant.
What are the weight of those? Do you know off the top of your head?
Well, they vary.
Well, they vary a bit. Okay.
They vary from 7 gram to like heavy.
I'll rephrase it. Are you comfortable with the weight, and not just Rapala, I guess ice jigs on the market, that the weights are usable in, let's call it, anywhere from 10 to 20 metres of water?
Some new ones that we released this year, I'm not worried about the weight. These things are tanky.
Yeah, okay.
They're tanky.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's do it. I mean, load up on ice jigs, and I've got my box of spinner baits.
I've already got them.
You do too. Yes, you do. Okay. Stay tuned to the Deep Drop Socials. Ads is going to do a walkthrough of the ice jigs.
Yeah, definitely.
And have a bit of a look, because they're not a lure that are in your face all the time. So I've got no doubt there's plenty of people listening, and rightly so. I'm kind of with you that are going, what the fuck is an ice jig? So Instagram, head over there. This week, Ads will do a bit of a walkthrough of some of the ice jigs in the Rapala range, which will hopefully get on the water soon and give them a bit of a crack, Ads.
Because what I was thinking initially after seeing the video of, say, these bass guys fishing them, I'm in a really weird headspace with stuff that I thought I knew a bit about. So even take fishing for EPs.
So good, though.
Oh, fishing for perch.
Yeah.
I've done it plenty of times, and it's generally casting towards a bank, like a mangrove edge, or I'm casting at snags.
Yep.
I've had a few conversations with a few different people who have enlightened me on just fish in open water. I never fish in open water unless I'm in the bay. We've said, live scope is been a part of the reason for this because it's taught us that there's a lot of big fish swimming in open water, whether on the top, whether on the bottom. And I thought, mate, an ice jig would be a great way to maybe prospect where, say, I'm fishing a river and where you got the main body of the river, the deepest part through the middle, and it starts to come up on the sides. Maybe working an edge with an ice jig. Because if you're doing that for American bass, that's exactly what you're doing. You're prospecting open water. You're not going to cast these things anywhere near a snag because they are going to snag up immediately just because of the hook setup, because of the weight. That's where I initially thought, okay, maybe I could try. Actually. Maybe I could try that.
I was just picturing that whole. Yeah, it would almost be just a bit of a exploratory sort of.
You've been peppering snags, or the tide's got low enough in some of the systems. The mangroves are now completely exposed, and you've missed the prime part of the tide to fish the prime part of the mangrove edges. Is it time to maybe work up and down the deeper parts of the river? Those fish have got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
That's what I initially thought. Snapper is kind of similar, really. Instead of using a river, you're just casting in open water. You maybe sounded up a few fish and you could prospect around that way.
I think your point about treating them a bit like soft plastics isn't bad for snapper.
Yeah, be a little bit more aggressive with them. The whole point is, because if you're not, they are so heavy.
Yeah.
If you're not a little bit aggressive with your rod action, you're not going to get it. It is literally going to be like winding a clump of just sinker.
It's pretty much what it is. A glorified sinker. Okay. So what do you think about that single hook on the end? Is that gonna what are you preferring to hook up with these? You know what I mean? Like, is it the treble? Is it the? I don't know. Like, it's.
I think.
I mean, I guess it's the same for anything. Like
same for anything, but I've got no idea how say a snapper is going to attack these things.
You might just jag one in the arse.
I've got no idea if the hook's even going to hold up because I'm sure they're not designed for snapper, and it's not a light gauge hook, so it should be okay. But
upgrade.
Well, you can't, not with a single. You can't. It's embedded in the arse.
No, not that one.
The treble. Oh, you could beef up the treble big time. Hang a single.
There's every chance that single comes back straight as a nail.
Yep. Or you hook it with the treble and the back end spins around, just jags it in the eyeball.
Yeah,
something grim.
Fair chance. Anyway, so spool spinner fishing. What do we think of using ice jigs for snapper? I'm in. Let's do it. Let's have a crack.
I'm 100% in. I think it could be quite viable.
Yeah, love it. All right. Hey, there was another question come through, and it's a bit more of just a broader piece. But Dill Pace has asked, has the hype around barrel bluefin died off over the last few seasons / years, I suppose?
I'm interested. What do you think straight off the bat?
Hype. So I want to look at the word hype because I think the interest in chasing big tuna is still very much there, and if anything, maybe the engagement's slightly higher because people are learning a bit more about these fish, the ability to chase them more, regularly, and obviously we've had a great few years of having them very close to home, and when I say home, as in close to shore, you're not having to do massive miles, so to speak. I mean, Tassie's just has ridiculous runs of those big barrels, and obviously South Australia, Victoria. So I don't think if I'm just pulling that apart, I don't think the interest and the engagement on that particular fishery has died off as such. The hype of it being, using that word, is it like being the excitement and the hype and people getting up and about? Maybe it's kind of one of those ones where we've seen it. And by the way, I'm not trying to take anything away from it. It's not as jarring anymore to see a fish like that, if that makes sense.
So in my opinion, barrel bluefin, the hype hasn't died one little bit. Not even a tiny bit. I think since they arrived locally, where we are, so quick backstory, barrel bluefin, Portland, Victoria, that was the mecca. To the point, the hype got so big on barrel bluefin that people stopped giving a rat's ass about small ones. You could have acres and acres and acres, as many small bluefin as you wanted. No one cared. They just waited for big ones. Then they turned up outside Port Phillip Bay and Western Port.
Yeah.
And that kicked everything into a new gear because for us around Western Port and Port Phillip, we didn't have to drive 5 hours to Portland.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. The reason I don't think the hype has died at all, people anticipate these big bluefin turning up now.
Yeah.
It's been happening for so long that we expect it. We know when to go.
Yeah.
And the miles at which some of the locals put in, they could be launching out of, say, the eastern entrance of Western Port and going all the way to the Cody Banks near Envelope. Like, it's insane miles.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't necessarily think the hype has died. I think we're so used to seeing photos of big bluefin that we're kind of numb to it.
That's kind of, I think that's kind of where I'm getting at. It's not as jarring now, like I said, to sort of see it. And it's not like you're sending it to 20 of your mates going, check this fucking... Having said that, there were some big fish caught this year that I definitely did the rotation because it was very bloody impressive. So, yeah. But no, I'm kind of with you. I don't think like I said, the interest certainly hasn't died off. If anything, it's grown. But it's probably less in my opinion, less of a big show when one of these fish gets caught, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like I even find myself now. I remember when they first started getting caught. Luke, I'm pretty sure we were both in the tackle shop at this point when all the big barrel bluefin thing took off. It was awesome. Every single one you heard, you're like, I can't believe this. And then they'd go from 101 kilos to 120. You're like, what? How big are these things going to get? Now I see one pop up on Insta. I'm like, meh, another bluefin.
That's what I mean. That's the take. That's the angle I'm going with it. So I'm with you on that. The hype is very much still there, and the interest is there, and people are engaged in this as probably as much as ever. But yeah, that's.
But also, I'm not particular like. Barrel bluefin aren't interest number one for me.
They're not. No, redfin are. So,
which
barrel redfin,
same,
different story,
different story. Barrel redfin,
100-kilo reddies. Can you imagine?
Oh, mate, you wouldn't fish reddies.
You couldn't stop that.
You just couldn't do you wouldn't do anything else.
10-kilo redfin, like
mate, 15-centimeter redfin, whatever.
I'm not going down this path. We've been down this path before.
You know my opinion.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's not a question. Yeah.
So no, I don't think hype has died. I think if you're in that space, you still wait with bated breath to see when the first one starts coming in. It's also the other thing that's changed. I found, especially locally around Port Phillip and Western Port, it is now kept very, very quiet. By the time you see one on social media, they've been going for a couple of weeks. So
that's a good
it's
point.
become the norm that the hype's there, but it's not the out there, holy shit, I can't believe big bluefin are here. It's now just part of the rotation.
What if I ask you the question of, because I've got a species in mind, of a fish that the hype has died? And I'm gonna throw it back to over the course of 10 years, and I know it's a long time, but I think back. So think back at there was big hype around, and let's go back to the tackle store days. So it's over 10. It's 10, 15 years ago.
Yep.
That is, I haven't heard anyone talking about it for a long time.
So you have got something in mind. I would say it's weird because what's hype and what's fad. So I would say say the hype behind calamari is at an all-time low. Absolutely dead and buried.
Yeah. But I'm. All right.
So you're talking about a specific, because I've got a species in mind. I don't think it qualifies though. Are you thinking of a species that we saw for one season only and they never came back?
No, striped tuna.
Stripies,
No. I'm talking about something that's here, and it's still a very popular species, but it's one that I've been vocal about not giving a shit about.
Oh fuck!
All right, do I just say it?
Yeah, just say it.
Gummy shark.
Oh, yeah.
There was hype.
There was
Remember?
hype. No, there was real hype too. Like
And,
it was
and like shout out to Winger and that back in the day released those DVDs.
Great Grey Subs.
Great
that
Grey
was
Subs.
that was the hype.
That was the hype, right? So that's when
Yep.
that's what I'm talking about. That was the hype. And like, when was the last time you heard from it? Be honest. When was the last person you spoke to going, ads, dude? Let's get out there. Let's get on the gummies, man.
I can't remember. It may have never happened.
That's a bit extreme, I'll say. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
You're right though.
even talking technique, like I've got this technique down pat. I can get them every time. Blah blah blah. It's no one,
Even like there was even a little like gummies off the beach, little hype thing that was happening. No one gives a fuck. Probably because they realised beach fishing shit.
it always comes back to that. That's your first.
And you've got to fish for them at night off the beach. There's red flag. Like it's screams don't go. I get why the hype's at an all-time low.
But you know what I mean? I just think that hype is gone, man. Like that's the
You're
one
right.
I'm thinking of. And
okay.
maybe there's more, but I don't know.
So follow-up question: why did it die? Is it because they're
borderline undesirable? Like,
is it all massive call? Are there not as many big ones around?
if I catch one snapper fishing, I'm a bit flat. It's going straight back. No pick. Just shake it off of the boat.
Fuck off.
Might even just cut the line even when I see it. Retie the leader.
So why do you think gummy shark hype is at an absolute zero? I'm not even going to say all-time low. I think it's at absolute zero.
You
Now,
reckon
please,
it's rock bottom.
Now, please head over to Instagram. Deep Drop's where we want to go.
Yeah.
Please tell me I'm wrong because I don't want to believe it, but
There
I
used to
actually,
be-
in my heart, I'm not trying to be a dickhead at the moment. I actually think gummy shark fishing is at
That's
an
what I'm saying.
all-time
I'm
low.
glad you're on board.
I'm all on board,
There was
but I don't know
talk
why.
nights and shit.
Yeah.
When was I don't. And look, maybe we're just not following the right sort of communication path here, ads. But
Do you know, I think the only people left that give a shit about gummy shark fishing?
who?
The dudes that walk for 12Ks at Lang Lang, like going to Stockyard Point. Why?
Yeah. If you're one of those people, why?
Why?
Get in touch.
I reckon the guys land-based fishing off Lang Lang, not Stockyard specifically, but even the shallows at Lang Lang,
Yeah.
I reckon they'd be the only ones left that care. But
'Cause
why? Why? There has to be a reason. Why?
Oh, hey, each to their own, mate. People fly fish, you know.
Do you know what I've always true? Do you know what I've always thought about gummies though? No matter when you catch them, and I could be speaking about out my ass a little bit here because I've never caught big ones. I've caught like small ones.
Yeah.
They never look shit. You know how sometimes when fish
fair.
get fish get big, sometimes they look manky and they look old and they look a bit all faded colouring.
Gummies
A
might go
gummy-
the other way, actually.
A gummy always looks immaculate.
Always looks
There
good.
never seems to be scars. There never
It's a good
seems to
call.
be blemishes. They never seem to fade in colour. They're always tip top.
Yeah, fair call. I love them. I think they're great.
Bullshit. You had me fooled.
No, they've got no scars or blemishes or scratches because no one wants to fucking go near them.
No one touches them. They just cut them off at the boat.
I'm being harsh. But I think, I mean, even back then, I've never been. I don't know why they've never excited me. That's me. That's just me. And they were hugely. And I've got no doubt that people still fish for them and target them, and obviously beautiful eating.
So the ones that are targeting them, are they targeting gummies or are they just fishing in a spot they know they could get a snapper or a gummy or a schoolie? They're not going, we're going on a gummy sesh. How many
Dunno.
people are out there sitting through tide changes on a full moon at night trying to get a 20 kilo plus gummy? Are there any?
Let's ask the question. I'm writing it down.
Because it used to be the go.
But
Boy one, boy, like,
yeah, I was going to say it was very much a thing. It was
Yeah.
I'm going gummy fishing. Like that's what I'm doing, putting in serious hours.
yeah, like crazy hours. Like
Overnighters,
nighttime.
whatever. So let us know. Get in touch. We'll call it out on Instagram. And tell us, like, are you still targeting gummies?
Gummies.
Is that all we're saying?
Yeah.
Or is just do you fish for gummies? No judgments. No.
No judgment.
Okay. I'll write that down in real time.
Super interesting. Oh, mate, that's a great one.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I can't think of another, and that was just off the top of my head. So, let's find out. Do you fish for gummies?
And why?
Specifically, like, is it and why? You exclusively targeting gummy shark?
Because it doesn't seem to be a thing anymore, and it used to be.
No.
That's a great one.
Okay. All right. Good. So you obviously weren't out gummy fishing the other day,
Definitely
but you
wasn't.
did hit the water ads and attempted to open your Snapper account. I don't
Yep.
even know if you've filled me in fully on this. So take it away. You threw the yak in?
Through the Yakin grand final public holiday, which was the Friday of the AFL grand final weekend.
Good day from memory.
Glamour conditions.
Yes,
Let's just say
yes.
I wasn't the only one out.
Isn't it fucking sad when you think about a day that was 2.5 weeks ago and you go, oh, that was a nice day? Because it was the only fucking nice
the
day
only
we've
one
had.
we've fucking had. So, and we've spoken about it on the pod, Luke. One of my goals for this year is to participate as much as I physically can in snapper season this year, because I've had a few off, haven't been motivated to do it, haven't really cared, to be honest. But for some reason, I'm all over it, and I did go for the first trip. So,
Well, this was because remember we were talking about the Snapper Diaries. So this is episode 1. Go.
entry number one.
Entry number 1.
Entry number one.
I wonder if I've got a sound effect for that. Hang on. I don't know. I'm just
Like the
flicking
scribbling
through.
notepad type.
Well, I was thinking more something a little bit like
Oh, yeah, reminiscing.
bit
makes
of that.
sense. Yeah, okay.
Here we go. Go.
Open the account. It was a late start. Now, why am I making it sound like I'm reading a story, like a fairy
Have you
tale?
written this out?
I don't know. No, I haven't. I'm just
Scribbled this
freestyling
down.
right now.
All right.
Yeah, so it was a little bit of a late start because it took me a little while to find a spot to get the kayak in because it was. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to launch at a boat ramp because they were busy. I did a lap of. I did a lap of.
And you
Black
don't
Rock.
like people, so
No, and I've also talked way too much shit on this podcast to be putting a kayak in at a busy boat ramp.
target.
So I found a little spot around Ricketts, Black Rock, which brought me out basically right on the edge of the marine park. I stayed well outside the marine park, happy to report.
Good.
I wasn't even tempted to go in.
No, of course you went. Why would you?
I wouldn't. So by the time I got on and fishing was probably... It would have just about been the top of the high, fishing the run-out tide.
Right.
Had to paddle around, didn't really trouble the scorers for the first hour and a half. I opted with jerkbait style plastics, not paddle tails.
Off the back of our
Off the
conversation
back
a
of the
couple of
conversation.
episodes ago. Yep.
So I went with a brightly coloured jerk.
Yes.
No love.
Ooh.
Persisted around for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Nothing much, no bites, no rattles, no nothing. Was fishing about 6 metres of water directly outside the marine park at Ricketts Point. Changed up.
How are you feeling at this point?
No, I'm okay. No, I'm okay. No, I'm okay because it was the first trip. I was okay. I haven't got the shits with it yet.
Good.
Yeah, it's only trip 1. But so
It's still time.
It's still time. So I changed over to a natural color plastic, glow body, green back, still in a jerk bait, 3-inch.
Right. Okay.
3-inch.
Yeah.
Got a hit, converted, got on the board. Fish maybe if I stretched it, maybe 35 centimeters.
Okay. Yeah.
But
good.
no, but at this stage, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's all right. That's okay. I got one.
Yeah.
Water temp was at 13, probably a bit cold for my liking. Again, expected. It's still pretty early.
Yeah.
Fished around, nothing. Got a couple of real small ones. Was then trying to saw two old mates loving the day, no tops on, carrying on like they just hooked a 20-pound snapper.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's something decent here.
Yeah.
Don't know, didn't see it. Had a chat to them later on the water. They got theirs on the troll. and
Nice.
got multiple fish for the session, all on the troll.
And what are we talking about here? So we're talking still in that 6-7 meter mark?
Yep, they were a little bit closer to the park than I was. They weren't anywhere near it. At this stage, I'd pushed out a little bit wider.
Yep.
I'd done the same drift. I found a drift that I was really happy with, over some good ground, couldn't get fish. Watched them pull one fish, and they said they'd caught multiple. So that was cool. They were getting theirs on the troll.
Do you know what they were using out of interest?
I don't know. Some sort of bibbed hard body. We were just sort of yelling at each other from across the bay, essentially.
Hey.
Yeah, pretty much. How you going, mate? Looks like you got a good one before. Yeah, all on the troll, mate. So it was pretty much the conversation.
And everyone on the peninsula could hear you because
100.
it travels over water so fucking... People in their kayaks, shut up.
Correct. So I saw a couple of older gentlemen pull a couple of pinkies on baits, anchored up.
Okay.
They were a little bit further out than me, so I didn't have to worry about weather. It was perfect. No wind, no chop. It was good.
Yeah.
So I started to push out a little bit wider, got to 8 meters, and fucking fish everywhere.
Right.
Like just everywhere. Clouds of snapper.
Nice.
And I thought, fucking here we go.
Yeah.
And it was game on. If you didn't get a fish, you were losing fish, or you were getting hits and couldn't stick them. They were all tiny.
Oh.
But they were on. I ended up going to a 5-inch plastic, a 5-inch jerk shad, just to see. There was 32 centimeter pinkies swallowing 5-inch plastics to the head of the plastic.
Yeah.
And again, it reminded me, don't fucking worry about fishing too big, because you're just not gonna.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, you're not gonna. So that was great. And
a good learning.
Good learning. I pushed out a little bit further again, had a bit of a sound around, didn't fish, but had a bit of a sound around in 11 meters, nearly 12 meters, barren.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe sounded 2 fish. They were sitting maybe a meter and a half off the bottom. Definitely snapper, I reckon.
Yeah.
But solitary fish, nothing going on, nothing in a paddock.
Okay, so
had a couple of casts, but nothing.
Your opening of the account was fish on the board, albeit
key rings, but fish on the board. Was pretty happy. I'm still so where I'm at now. I'm like, okay, I've got some pinkies. I don't know whether to go somewhere else to look for a bigger fish, or wait for the water temperature to get up to a consistent, as in not go fishing until it gets up, but not expect bigger fish till we're sort of 15, 16 degrees.
Yep, roger.
Because that Ricketts Point Blackrock area is 100% notorious, happens every single year. You can wade through 10, 12, 15, 20 pinkies, then all of a sudden a 2.5 kilo fish clunks of plastic, and you've got a good one.
Yeah.
Notorious for it. I don't know whether they're there. I didn't sound anything that resembled a good fish, but that doesn't really mean anything to me, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I don't know. This is where I'm confused. We had that couple of weeks prior where it just hammered westerlies for a little bit. Oh, and now, shout out to Scotty Harps. Happy birthday, Scotty Harps.
Happy birthday, Scotty Harps.
Happy birthday. I had a chat to him today, and he filled me in with a bit of fishing report. During those westerlies, the Mornington Peninsula went absolutely ballistic for good fish, land-based. Not surprising. It happens. It happens. But what that's making me think are fish are in close over there.
Yep.
Do I, on the next weekend that I can go, do I go peninsula side or do I stick with Ricketts?
Yep. Well, hey, these are the difficult decisions you have to make, my friend.
Because I'm familiar with the Mornington Peninsula. I know where to put in. I know where I would fish to go and do it. I know I'm fishing deeper water without having to paddle as further out.
Yeah.
Which could be the key. Could not be. I don't know.
You're going to have to give it a go, and you're probably going to have to take some ice jigs.
Think I'm going to have to. Oh, and you'll be pleased to know I had a sleeper out.
Did you? What was your sleeper?
So I had, one of those, vexed style, colourful head.
Yeah.
The gnarliest big gal fucking hooks sitting, 3 of the bastards sitting outside a skirt. I had
Yeah.
one of them hanging down the whole time. Not a sniff, not surprising. I think I love the idea. I think I'm going to have to muck around and re-rig it.
I need to tell you a little bit about a particular jig in that style, ads. There's a brand called Snapbait. I don't know if you're familiar with Snapbait.
I've only recently saw them pop up on Insta.
Yeah, nice. Snapbait are a WA-based brand of jig. They also do sort of metal vertical jigs and stuff as well. And going nuts around the country. So we've been ranging them in WA, Queensland, and those particular regions are smashing all sorts of fish with them. We've recently put them in a few Anaconda stores in Victoria because I think, and on the back of some feedback from Lee Rayner,
Yep.
he's been catching some big fish on them.
Should I bait them? Please
Yeah.
say no. Fuck.
Oh no.
Better.
I chuck it's up to you. I don't think you have to, but it's as you know with anything like that. I mean, it's going to help, or potentially. I don't know. Maybe it won't. But so when you say should you don't have to. No,
Because what I'm thinking, I'm scared by the hooks on them. They're way too big. Obviously, they're designed over in Western Australia. They're for their deep
the big
demersals.
demersal.
So that's
over
cool.
there, yeah.
So I'm thinking of maybe trying to rig them up, maybe just with a pair of 3Os,
Yeah.
just to downsize everything a little bit. But I was down at Complete Angler in Bentley on the day that we're talking about today. Shout out to Claude.
Yeah.
They had one hanging up and it had a paddle tail soft plastic rigged on it.
Okay.
So I'm thinking,
Yeah. Why not? This is the thing. Why not? Give it a bloody go.
because
Give it a go.
I'm drifting, so I'm constantly moving. So that as long as that tail's going to be moving the whole time. We'll definitely have to muck around with the rigging. Still want to keep the squid over the front of it,
Yeah.
but I did have a sleeper down the whole time.
I like it. Yeah.
And I'm going to persist with it.
Okay. Well, I think, just thinking out loud, I think that what we'll do, because I just am also, understand that it might not be a widely known type of product here in the southern states. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get Rayner to do a bit of a video and send it to me because I know he's got a big collection of snapbait at the moment that he's getting ready for the season.
Yep.
And we'll post it on his Instagram. So jump over to
awesome.
Instagram.
Yeah, awesome.
And have a look. This week we'll post a video of Lee talking about these snapbait jigs. I reckon it's worth it. If you've got a spare rod, you can just teabag the bastard out.
Yeah,
the back.
that's all I'm doing with it. Just hanging it straight
Drifter.
down.
Drifter.
Yeah. So it's like squid jig, but for
Hang
snapper.
on. We have developed / not put into production yet a drifter series of squid jigs, right? Remember?
Yes.
Way back in
Yes.
the series. Drifted metals. Like, is this what we're doing now?
We're innovators, Luke.
The drifters just expanded.
Yeah.
But mate, without being sounding dumb, that's where they come into their own.
Yeah. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to persist with it. I'm going to muck around with the rigging. I'm going to have a couple. Look, feel free to send a few of those snapbaits over.
I'll do it.
Because I want to muck around with the hook size and gauge and have a few nude.
Yeah.
I want to rig a few with some paddle tails rigged to them.
Well, they do, and they do them like obviously for deep water, right up to 300 odd grams. But there are 20, 40, 60, 80. So there's some lighter ones. So
I think the one I bought was a 20 grammer.
Yeah.
And no issue, only in 6 and 8 meters of water. So,
but even realistically,
No issue.
even if you're sort of drifting it off in a rod holder on your boat, 60's fine, 80's fine. Really, it doesn't matter.
I don't think with it's not something you can go too heavy with.
Can I give you a tip on this? And again,
Please, because I've never used them.
Now this is a bit of it. Yeah, so this is a bit of a, I suppose, third party feedback. This is a Rainer call. If you've got a softer rod,
Yep.
it is best to use the softer rod with this particular drifter. So when you think about a really stiff rod and that thing's just sitting there and just sort of going up and down with the wake of the boats,
Ooh, I know
if
where
it's
you're
stiff,
going with this, and I love it.
It's given it these twitches and erratic sort of action. But if you've got a nice soft rod, that thing's just glide. Oh, yeah, see my hand?
Yeah, see it.
Gliding, doing these ones. Yeah. Nice and more naturally, almost squid octopus style in the water.
So all right.
If you have two rods out, one stiff, one nice and soft, you'll get 90% of your fish on the softer tip rod.
So I had mine rigged and hanging off a light slow pitch rod.
Yeah. Light, slow pitch. Is that?
You'll know that red Gamoku.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. A light, but yeah, that should be fine. Yeah.
But
You just don't want it being jerked around and bounced around and all crazy stuff.
There was literally this is.
Although you might not
cool.
have had much.
There was zero. So
Yeah.
there was zero. It was literally
Flat.
just a chunk of colourful. It's like an ice jig just being towed through the water with a plastic squid and
Sitting
3
there.
big fuck off hooks out the back of
You
it.
might
But
pick up a fish towing it.
I think
slowly.
I think I need to get some heavier, so that it works the tip of the rod a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because
You got to work the tip.
20 grand. Yes, you do.
Jesus. You just walked into that. That's,
But I think
God. Grow up.
yeah,
Adam.
okay. I need a selection. I need 20s, 40s, and 60s.
Send me your order.
Yeah, 20s, 40s.
Jump
I
on-
don't care about colour, but 20, 40s, and 60s.
Do us a favour. Jump onto the Anaconda website.
I'm writing this down.
Yeah, and just make a list. I'll get it sorted for you.
All right,
They're all in there, and there's some wicked colours too, by the way. Some cool ones.
So we can trade ice jigs for snap baits.
Yeah, yeah, all right. Yeah, but give them a go. And I tell you what, if anyone's listening who's used this style of jig, doesn't have to be snapper, whatever. Let us know. Let us know what you think. But keep an eye out for these snapbait jigs. Mate, they're catching some fish.
So I'm going to persist. I think I need to muck around with the rigging, but I'm going to persist. I can see the potential.
I'll go one further and say that you and I and Lee, who is a big advocate of this thing, will do a session and we'll film some stuff because he's all about it, mate.
Yeah.
He reckons some of his bigger fish in the last couple of seasons have been on that.
Okay. This excites me.
And you know it's believable because he's been paying for the jigs, and someone like
that's
Lee
right.
does.
The proof is in the
buying them.
cash.
So anyway, but check him out. I think it's cool. It's just another avenue, isn't it? I mean,
It is. It is. And it does make perfect sense if you're drifting to have something that you don't have to worry about. Just another fish catching option in the water because there's nothing to lose. It never got in the way of what I was doing.
No. It's pretty much straight up and down too.
Straight up and down. The rod is angled out where I can see it, but it's not impeding anything that I'm doing.
And that's where a slightly bit of and obviously it all depends on conditions on the day and the drift and that, but that's where a slightly heavier one can be better in a way because it can make sure you're up and down if your drift's a bit quicker or whatever.
That's what I mean. I reckon it could be pretty good for that. So
yeah. All right. Well, you're out there, mate. You're on the board. Don't worry about the size.
No, I was happy.
Yeah,
I was happy.
We won't hold that against you.
It was good.
But
No,
it's all,
at the end of the season, come back to me. I might never want to snap a fish again.
Yeah,
but if the wind had stopped fucking blowing.
Oh my God, what's going on there? Seriously, fucking sort that out.
So that's pretty much my mission. When the weather's good,
right.
When the weather's good, on the weekends that I can go.
Bravos.
Yeah.
Daylight savings. You know what I'm saying?
I need somewhere close to home.
Just
Do you
move
reckon?
closer to the water?
Do you reckon?
That's what I did.
Okay. This is bad because we're recording a podcast. Ignore the podcast for a second.
Yeah.
If I was to put in the yak off the beach at Carrum, is it all barren through there? Or am I better off going to Frankston? Probably better off going to Frankston, eh?
Well, we've had throwback. I remember having a wicked session on the Plackies with might have been you. I can't even remember now. In really close, but it was after some pretty decent rain, so it was really sort of that top part of the water was quite
Shit.
shit, which generated some shelter. So those fish had moved right in. But I'm talking like right up close. So, but yeah, I've had very few sessions up there in the shallows.
Cat that I've never run the kayak over. That closest reef ball to, is it Seaford Pier or Frankston Pier? There's one of those reef balls that's quite close. It could be worth a look.
Absolutely.
Okay, there's options. That'd be a good
There
one
is.
that'd be because it's close to home, so that'd be a good one.
All right. Well, I mean, we could keep having this personal conversation. Or
Yeah,
get on
no,
with
let's
the
get on.
podcast.
Sorry, carried away.
No, I'm joking. but what
management's going to come down like a fucking sledgehammer.
No,
on
they
me for that.
they left ages ago.
Yeah, good.
I heard the car leave. They're not sticking around listening to this shit, mate. They'll listen to the podcast and pick it apart and come in next week with all their fucking issues.
Yeah.
I mean, we get it. I appreciate their enthusiasm.
I don't. Tosses.
I mean, you took that personally, didn't you?
It's game on. He targeted
did.
me.
He did target you. You
Game
didn't
on.
like it. Well, I think he had a beef with that. I reckon he's going to be after you the next few weeks. So
Bring it on.
yeah. But I reckon what I'm picking up from all this is there are so many options right now. It's just we wait for the break in the weather. We be patient.
Yep.
It'll come. And we get out there and give it a go. And without even taking the piss, why not chuck an ice jig around for a bit? Why not have a drifter, one of these snap bait jigs? Like,
All right,
you know what I'm saying?
blanket. Oh, not a rule, but here's something that maybe we can all pencil down for the upcoming snapper season.
Okay.
So
A checklist.
per sesh, yes, per sesh.
Snap a checklist. Hang
Yep.
on. Do I need to write it down?
Oh no, because it's probably we'll build this up over the snapper season as we keep talking.
Right.
But let's put this one on the list.
Okay.
So everyone listening who's going to have a crack at the snappers,
Yeah.
particularly on lures this season,
Yeah.
minimum 12 casts with a nice jig
Oof. Per session.
per session.
Okay. Just
If
to see.
you're feeling confident, put some time in. But if you're not, just random 12 casts.
12. It
12
has to be
casts.
12.
Don't know, it just feels right. 12.
Yeah, no, it does. It does feel absolutely right. 11, 10, no.
No,
Don't
12.
even bother. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. We're not going to
Yeah.
know until we get ice jigs in the water.
And if enough people do it, you think of a nice day out in Port Phillip Bay, a couple hundred boats, 12 casts per boat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's 2,500 casts.
I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
John Didge, I'm talking to you.
Yeah. He's probably fucking done it.
Yeah, I know. He's probably been catching snapper on him for fucking years.
He'll send us a message during the week going, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Here's one I prepared earlier. No. Shallow water, deep water. Like how deep? Yeah, I mean, we're getting back into that conversation, but I feel like it's a shallow water thing. Or am I wrong?
I don't know. I reckon some of these new ones, I'll do the thing
Okay.
for Insta.
Yeah,
And
do the thing.
I'll give you the specs. I'll show you the
Yep.
lures. I reckon on the right day, you could comfortably probably fish them in 10, 12 metres of water.
Yeah, nice. Okay. All right. Well, you do that. You've got a job to do.
Yep.
You don't often have.
I've written it down and
homework.
everything. No, I've written
Have
it
you?
down.
Jesus. I mean, that's big for you.
Yeah. I've got to knuckle down. I'm being targeted by management.
You have. No, that's fair. Well, their job's done. All right, so let's recap a little bit. We had obviously the question around the ice jigs. Do you guys think, could it be a thing? Yes, we've said yeah.
We think so, yeah. So
Yeah,
let's
we're
try it.
committed to it.
Collectively, let's try it.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. It's not an us thing. It's a
No, collectively,
well,
let's have a crack.
No, it is an us thing. Us all.
Anyway.
Has the hype around barreled bluefin died off for the last few seasons? We've kind of said
Yeah, I'm saying
no.
no. Yep.
Nah, yeah, no, you know.
Yeah, no.
We are going to ask the question about do you fish for gummies?
Yeah.
I think the hype's died off that over the last decade.
I'm calling all-time low.
All-time low.
And I want to know why.
Okay. Where did they sit in that list? Remember that list that Fisheries released or VR Fish released? Was it in it?
Yeah, I'm sure it was in it.
Yeah, it was probably in it. Okay. Okay, good. And so Adam is going to, you need to get over to Instagram. Adam's going to do a recap on those ice jigs just
Yep.
to have a bit of a chat through them. And the snapbait range, Rainer, is going to do a video for us. Has no idea, but I'm going to message him directly after this show.
Deal.
And we want you guys to start trying it. Mix it up. Mix it up.
Let's try some stuff. Let's find out if there's something else that we should be adding to the Snapper tackle box for
Now,
every
I
trip.
want to, just on it, before we go, I want to lean on, because we do have a few people from WA that tune in, because we hear from them regularly, and we love you guys over there. You are probably a good barometer, you WA folk. Give us an idea. Like, are we barking up the wrong tree with things like ice jigs and that? I mean,
do you guys bait them?
I was going to say, but the snap bait or those jig style.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about them.
Yeah.
And what else are you using that we haven't even mentioned?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a good fishery over there for snapper.
What
about Queensland? Our Queensland listeners, there's some regulars in the southeast Queensland region. Get involved. Yes, I'm talking to you.
I'm so keen to hear what's happening with these baits.
All right. This is it. We're going to have some feedback hopefully next week. WA, Queensland, let's hear it.
I love it.
You're always putting shit on us Victorians, and sometimes I think
rightly
fair
so.
enough. Fair enough. They're sure as shit not targeting gummies. All right. Well, that's us. But please get in touch. We love hearing from you all. Instagram, or if you want to head over to the website, thedeepdrop.au, you can get in touch via the contact page. And, of course, you can grab some merch, get your hands on some merch ads.
Do it. And
I mean, that drink that you've been knocking back all night is
still
just
ice cold.
so great.
Still ice
it would
cold.
be too.
No hand cramps.
No.
No cold hands. Beautifully. Just holding that can gracefully and successfully. So have a look.
Well done.
Have a look at them. And please head over to Insta. I think we've proven, A, what this show's about, and B, that you look at Instagram because, I don't. But
No, that's right. You don't.
But a simple question. Ice jigs on Snapper.
Yep.
We took it way too far. We spent 3/4 of an episode on it.
Yeah.
And I think we're in a good place. I'm happy with it. I feel
I'm happy
really
with
good
it.
about it. So
I like where we've landed.
yeah. So please send your questions through. We'd love to break them down, go into way too much depth and theory crafting detail.
You know what would eat the shit out of ice jigs? Flathead. Big flathead.
Big flathead.
That's what I think. And on that note, thanks for the support, Adam. On that note, probably not. I'm thinking like deeper water, like in the bays and stuff. I don't think a big dusky
Maybe
would, but they'd be hard to fish.
Flatties
in
would
that
eat them,
shallow
no
stuff.
doubt. No doubt flatties would eat them.
Yeah.
Oh, those little 7-grammers you could fish in the shallows.
Yeah. No, true. All right, let's go. We got work to do. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you again real soon. See you, ads.
Peace.